Hello, hello, and a wonderful Onpassive day to you. This is a series about leadership traits, especially as they relate to our CEO, Mr. Mufareh. Excuse me. But these traits are also applicable to all leaders in that they're needed to maximize our own success as entrepreneurs, as well as our own personal sustainability. Now, this is the second video in the series, and it outlines a dual topic trait, if you will, of transparency in communication. And we see this through a leader's activity or the activity that a leader allows. So now we can all probably agree that Ash is known for regularly updating us, coming on and telling us some things and talking to the employees about the company's progress and challenges and such. Generally, there's not a lot of need for giving detail about what's going on. I mean, in honesty, if he gave us a lot more detail, I think it'd probably scare the daylights out of us. And not sure that that's a good thing. But anyway, it's enough to know that, yeah, we've had some pretty severe and pointed challenges, to put it mildly, and we aren't quite out of the woods yet. So I will tell you, though, life's getting pretty good for us, right? Now, that said, when we talk about transparency, we're talking about regularly sharing the company's mission, its objectives, and its strategies with employers and customers and stakeholders and members and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, all that stuff, right? And I don't mean giving a play-by-play account of what the business does on a daily basis, or certainly not airing our laundry in public, so to speak. And there are some things, obviously, that we don't need to be sharing, or certainly don't share entirely. But having open communication to encourage honest dialogue promotes trust. So where we can, we should share appropriately. And to that end, there are some points that we should know about as leaders in our own lives, whether as a business mogul or a parent or even a friend. And concerning that, we look at open communication and the channels of that. And as a general rule, open communication means information is flowing both ways. This two-way flow, if you will, enables some mutual understanding, right, between the parties, collaborative problem solving, building trust in relationships, identifying and addressing concerns that come up, and getting back to the point, fostering a culture of transparency and openness. And as such, open communication includes a few things. Regular updates to be expected, right? Sharing progress reports, project statuses, milestones, challenges with the company or stakeholders or even employees. I mean, we've had some of those going on. And these are all part of open comms, if you will, that help folks stay informed and engaged using different formats like Q&As that create open forums for employees or members or stakeholders to ask questions, share their concerns, and engage with those that are placed in leadership. And these updates, if you will, all include things like, access to information, for instance. Now, whether it's a live webinar or a conference or perhaps a pre-recorded video like this placed on social media, access to necessary information promotes informed decision-making and collaboration, right? It helps us all work together for the greater good and for accomplishment of our goals and our missions. And in this case, in the case of Onpassive, we've seen this through updates in the back office, the weekly 360 big one, and even the numerous webinars that are put on consistently by member leaders all across the globe. I mean, there's hundreds of them. Now, sometimes we get explanations of business concepts. Sometimes we see guests that break down what seem like complex, technological problems or concepts into an understandable language. Sometimes we hear about data privacy and security, so we understand data handling practices, or transparency perhaps in data collection, usage, its storage, why do we need it? Why are we collecting? What are we collecting? That sort of thing. And I think another way that we see Ash's communication is in his heart for transparent AI development by letting us know that what he wants in AI development and how he's looking to ensure, the thoughtful look at diverse perspectives and ethical considerations are top of the list. Now, later on, this may even include a general sense of the algorithmic transparency, what goes into how he does what he does. That might give us some insights into the AI decision-making processes and the algorithms. Not something I need to know, but there are some folks out there who would like to know exactly what we're trying to do and why we're doing it for the right reasons, the right way. For now, though, Ash, on more than one occasion, has talked about the company addressing potential biases and ethical concerns in the development of our AI, the AI that we develop. And given the enormity of the opportunity to use AI for purposes of greed and control, this is a huge concern for me as well. And it does my heart good to know that we're on the right side of the fence, in a way. We also see the trait reflecting transparency and communication in our channels of customer support and feedback. In this way, Onpassive offers responsive support, actively soliciting feedback and incorporating it into product development. We've seen that on several instances and several cases where the feedback that we provide goes into the development of the products, and we see those changes happen almost in real time. Here's something to think about. Transparency and open communication mean having a conduit that's going to encourage feedback, solicit suggestions, and allow a way to voice concerns, while ensuring that the voices are heard and the concerns are addressed. Now, admittedly, this doesn't always happen to the degree that we'd like to see it happen. And sometimes a company will unwittingly endorse a culture of forced silence in a way concerning requests for information or ideas and that sort of thing. In instances like this, employees or members can even find themselves being blacklisted in a way, by leadership, in a sense, from open, respectful participation in communication, and their concerns are ignored. Now, oftentimes leaders don't know that they're doing this. Sometimes they do, but regardless, let's not stand too far in judgment of that, right? I mean, that behavior allows obviously for an onset of bitterness and resentment that undermines rather the company's mission. So we don't want to get into that trap. As leaders, we need to be aware of how we're behaving, and we need to be aware of the perceptions of our behavior. So this means whether we're actively endorsing behaviors like that or other behaviors that aren't probably for the best good, of all concerned, that, put it this way, if the behavior is bad for the heart, it's going to be bad for business. I'll just kind of leave it there like that. So don't stand in judgment of it. Just understand this type of behavior, it also affords us an opportunity to grow personally as leaders. And there's a benefit to this, right? Because there's contrast. Now, by knowing what we don't like, we can know what we do like, and we can make changes to reflect that to reflect our preferences in our own behavior and our own leadership styles. It's through transparency and open communication that companies build trust, promote collaboration, and drive responsible innovation. And fostering this is a trait shared by great leaders. But it doesn't mean we need to share everything. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily give details about my household mood to my 5-year-old, right? But still, let's look at our leaders for guidance, remembering nobody's perfect, support them in all their efforts, take what resonates with you, use it for your growth and your empowerment, right? So that you can become a best version of you that you can be. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate that. I hope that you will share, that you will like this, that you will subscribe to the channel. I hope that you will use some of this information in your own development. And the next video that we put out in this series is going to be about Mr. Mufareh's innovative approach, which is another trait within the overall category of leadership. Thank you much. I hope you have an incredibly awesome Onpassive day.